Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome into the virtual Talladega Superspeedway for the first round of the playoffs. First race of the playoffs, excuse me. Here live on PGR eSports. My name is Dawson Wise, joining you live tonight from Talladega. And a disclaimer off the bat tonight, some bad news. iRacing did a major update today, the Season 3 update for this, what's going to be the third quarter of racing, if you will, for iRacing this year in 2024. And when they did this update, it downloaded okay, but our broadcast overlays, our scoring overlays, starting grid, tower, etc., appear to have not caught up with the update yet. So what I'm going to do is we're going to roll without them. I will do my best to call this race radio style for you and keep up with all the action so you can be well informed until either the first caution or tonight's stage break, which is about 5 laps later. I'll get into that in a second. Here in just a moment as qualifying ends and drivers get on the grid. I'll get into that in just a moment, but for tonight, at least for the first 20 to 25 laps, depending on how long these guys want to run green, this race will be without broadcast overlays. I'll do my best to be able to radio-style broadcast this race for you, at least either until the first caution or the stage break. Again, my apologies, iRacing. This happens sometimes with these major updates. There were some things broken earlier as well. I know I heard from some people that there are multiple issues after this update. So my apologies, but we're going to do the best we can nonetheless because it is playoff racing. I would not miss this race for the world tonight. I'm looking forward to it, and I'm glad you're here, and I'm glad you have joined me. We'll give you your playoff field first. Now, they would have been notated by a small P next to their name, but unfortunately, with no overlays tonight, that is not going to be the case. So I will go through the playoff field first and foremost. No starting grid either tonight. Again, technology is not being my friend tonight. The playoff drivers, at least most of them, I know not all of them got around to it, but most of them have a yellow banner above where their name is, a yellow splitter, and a yellow rear spoiler. You see a few of them on the grid already. So we will get you up to speed on who those playoff drivers are. The first 7 cars on the grid are all going to be playoff cars tonight. Andrew Navarro and Garrett Maines will make up the front row. Jeff Merck, Jason Maines on row number 2. Trevin Osborne, Michael Triscaro on row number 3. And Matthew Baker on row number 4. He'll start 7th. Then Devin Ray is 8th. Then another trio of playoff drivers. J.R. Miller in 9th. Jared Haynes in 10th. And Mike Davenport in the 11th spot. Then you got to go back to 14th and 15th for our next 2 playoff drivers, Logan York and Matt Lee. Brock Westmoreland in the 4 will start 18th, and Kenny McCullough will start 20th, and Chris McCullough will start 19th. And our final playoff driver in the field tonight is Nash Brambilla in 23rd, which accounts to 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, all 16 playoff drivers are in the field tonight. The ones that are not playoff eligible, starting 7th, Devin Ray. Starting 11th, Landon Velicki. Starting 14th, Dylan Jones. Starting 15th, Daniel Eberhardt. Starting 18th, DJ Daniel. Starting 21st, Jimmy Emos. And starting 22nd, Mark Vondell. We'll try to keep you updated on where those playoff drivers are running as the night progresses. 2 races in the round of 16, 2 races in the round of 8, and our championship race will be at the beginning of July, and it will be 100 laps. Notably tonight, stay with me here again, no overlay, 75 laps tonight. It is not 60, it is 75. The stage break will be at lap 60. Or, excuse me, not lap 60. Wow, I don't know what I'm talking about. The stage break will be at lap 25, the conclusion of lap 25. And I will, again, if these guys go without a caution, I'll let you know when that lap is, when we're approaching it as we get there. Again, my apologies. This is obviously not how I wanted to broadcast tonight's race, but unfortunately, sometimes technology does this to you. And I did not want to miss the start because it is playoff racing. So again, at tonight's first caution or tonight's stage break, we'll go to a short break. You will not miss a second of green flag action. I will do it under the yellow flag, but I'm going to try to get the overlays working tonight so that we can enjoy tonight's playoff race and have all the proper timing and scoring. But we'll get around to that when a caution flag flies. All right, here we go. 16 playoff drivers are ready to contest 5 races of playoff racing to determine who will be the Season 4 Tuesday Night Thunder champion. It's been an incredible season, but now the races mean more for the 16 drivers in our postseason field, and we'll keep an eye on all of them as the night goes on. Andrew Navarro, Garrett Maines bring the field off turn number 4 for the first time tonight. It is 23 cars strong, and they are ready to get playoff racing underway from Talladega Superspeedway. Navarro, Maines, door to door, and here we go. 75 laps in the opener of the playoffs here at Talladega. We're ready to go racing, and so is the field. And the Geico restarts over the first time. Green flag is in the air. We're racing in Tuesday Night Thunder. Through the trial for the first time, down to the start-finish line, it'll be Andrew Navarro that leads the opening lap of tonight's race. Lap 2 now on the board, 24 laps to go in this extended first stage. Stage points will still be given out tonight, even with the playoff drivers. Keep that in mind as we go on throughout stage number 1. There will still be playoff points on the table for our 16 playoff drivers. Really all the drivers in the field, but the 16 in the playoffs, it means a little bit more to here tonight. Garrett Maines noses out front. He'll put the number 1 machine out in front of the field for the first time tonight. As Andrew Navarro continues to search back to the bottom, and up top, it's the quasi-NBG teammates, Matthew Baker and Michael Triscaro up on the outside trying to make things work. They need one more car to go with him, and there he goes. Devin Ray thought about it, still thinking about it. And now he's going to jump up there, and a couple of others have gone as well. Playoff driver Jared Haynes is up top. And the other driver behind him is Landon Velicki, who has burst onto the scene in money racing here over the past couple of weeks and started to really make a name for himself. Has Landon Velicki still 3x3 down the Alabama Gang Super Stretch. Lap 3 of 75 is on the board as it's Matthew Baker that will nose out front. Andrew Navarro and Garrett Maines both clear to the bottom, but staying up, trying to keep Matthew Baker pinned. Navarro dropping down, and so too does Baker. He'll go top to middle in front of Garrett Maines. It'll be Triscaro, Ray, Haynes, Velicki, and there was one more car up there, DJ Daniel, but he drops back in as the field comes to complete lap number 3. Baker versus Navarro at the front. Baker, the only man with 4 wins this season, and the only man with more than 2 on the year. The 5 continues to lead laps, looking for a championship tonight with the first way to do it. A couple of reminders for later in the night. Remember, again, stage points are given out to the playoff drivers. Big surge by Navarro. He'll go back to the lead. Stage points are given out to playoff drivers, and also, if a playoff driver wins tonight's race, they are locked into the round of 8 tonight after the checkered flag flies. So keep that in mind as well. Triscaro, big surge to the outside. He's got help from the bucked-up Chevrolet of Devin Ray. But that line starts to fade as attempts start to give way. It is very cloudy. Track tip was down when I looked before the race started. So that certainly will have an impact. Navarro, Baker now back to 2 wide as the field files back in line. Lap number 5 goes on the board as the field comes by the start-finish line. One pit stop here in the opening stage. Should it go green, that pit stop will occur around lap 15. After that, the stage break will be at the conclusion of lap number 25. Lap 5 is what's on the board right now. Baker, Navarro, Maines, Jason Maines, and Jeff Merkier top 5. It is 9 out of the 10 of the top 10 cars on the speedway. Now it's all the top 9 are playoff drivers, and 10 of the top 11 wear the playoff banners tonight so far, and that explains a lot about how these guys are going to race, how these guys are going to treat each other on the track, with the strategy going through these guys' heads. Already a lot of drivers diving to the inside. I'm beginning to wonder if we'll see some short pitting tonight. Going to look to see if the fuel is any different. It is not. It is the same fuel load, so they're going to short pit. it would not be until about lap 10, I think, until they could even make it. So guys are filing to the bottom, but they really can't make it until about lap 10 if they choose to go that far. Baker, Navarro still side by side. And again, it's mostly playoff drivers here at the front of the field. The closest non-playoff driver to the front is Devin Ray back in the 12th position. Now all of the top 11 on the speedway are playoff drivers. Devin Ray, DJ Daniel, Logan York making their way up the outside. Ray in the turquoise and pink bucked up Chevrolet Camaro. Daniel in the multicolored 96, the pink, blue, yellow, and green number 96 on the outside. Andrew Navarro continues to lead the way. Matthew Baker flanking him to his right, but here comes the outside. Jason Maines in the 12. Michael Triscaro in the 34. The 2 of Devin Ray in the 96 of DJ Daniel. As the field continues to work 3 rows of 3 wide, the back 8 or 9 cars are all single file, and that includes some of the playoff field. Right now it includes Jared Haynes, it includes Matt Lee, Brock Westmoreland, Kenny McCullough, Chris McCullough, and Nash Brambilla are the drivers choosing to run towards the back. Michael Triscaro's taking a peek 4 wide. And he'll get out there, but Devin Ray says no, sir. He's going to shoot the 34 to the back and pin Michael Triscaro all the way up against the safer barrier. And that lane fizzles all of a sudden. So not sure what happened there. A big miscommunication up front. Matthew Baker goes to the race lead in front of Navarro. Maines, Miller, York, the top 3 on the outside. Logan York already +7 from where he started. Matthew Baker +6. Matt Lee +6. J.R. Miller +4, and so is DJ Daniel. Navarro back to the lead. Lap 9 going on the board again. Count it, 9. It means 17 laps to go in the stage. And about 6 laps until we likely see some pit stops. Jason Maines trying to wind that outside line back up. He's got Devin Ray and DJ Daniel once again committing to go with him. And Logan York's going to commit as well. Now the third lane again tries to get it rolling. It's gotten rolling a few times tonight. It goes for attempt number 4 already in this young race. 9 laps on the board. It'll be 10 when we cross back by the start-finish line. Logan York, a big surge to the outside. Maines, Ray, Daniel providing the assistance. Navarro up to the middle of the block in front of Garrett Maines. Off turn 4 again. Lap 10 will go on the board this time by 16 laps to go in stage 1. 66 to go in the race. York to the outside of Navarro. He'll go to his right elbow here as they climb the banking in turn number 1. Navarro, Maines, Baker, York, Miller, the top 5. Now Trevin Osborne starts to try to make something happen. He's inside the top 10 just in front of Mike Davenport. He's going to have his first opening in the race in just a moment, but he's going to stay tucked up behind the 60 of Jeff Merck, at least for a moment. Garrett Maines back to the lead side by side with him and Andrew Navarro. Coming to the end of lap number 10. So this is about the time you could start to consider short pitting if you wanted to do so. I'm not sure if these guys will. They haven't shown a propensity to all year. I don't see that starting now. Navarro back to the lead. Baker has a teammate behind him in Jeff Merck. It's really about the only set of teammates that are here close to the front. I'm looking back towards, the tail end. Kenny and Chris McCullough are nose to tail, and they're actually starting to make some headway. They're up to 16th and 17th on the speedway. So keep an eye on the 03 and the 94 as this race unfolds as well. J.R. Miller steps out. Navarro down to the bottom of the middle lane is all kinds of out of whack. Matthew Baker washed up a little bit. Now the bottom lane's out of whack. Can the third lane get something going here? J.R. Miller got his first Tuesday night win this season to put him in this position where he could run for a championship, and I would be willing to bet he'd be one of the final 8. He's for sure a sleeper pick to make that final 8 by virtue of his victory, by virtue of how good he's been running all season long. He's up top 3 wide. Navarro gets shuffled all the way back to about 6th, and now Matthew Baker's going to be left all by his lonesome. He's going to block. Throws the first block on Garrett Maines. Can't throw the second. Navarro and Maines will now go back forward, and Matt Lee will be all over the back bumper of the 5. Lap 12 is on the board, so we're about halfway through this initial opening stage. And it's been dicey at the front, but from about 12th on back, making about 13th on back, it's very calm. From about Jared Haynes on back through the field, it's guys that are just riding, biding their time. That includes a few of our playoff contenders. Maines up to block the middle. Outside still trying to cook. Lap 13 on the board. Now dead even halfway through the stage. 12 down, 13 to go as we hit the midway point of stage number 1. Maines continues to lead the field down the backstretch. They're going to catch Jimmy Emos here in the matter of a couple of laps. Probably right about maybe his pit stop starting. Actually, they're going to catch him well before that. Still double file amongst the leaders. The 3 wide line has faded back to about 9th, 10th, and 11th position. Emos fades to pit road, so the field will lap him here as he is on the pit lane. Lap 14 on the board. 12 to go in stage number 1, and only a couple left until the opening pit stop. And again, if you're just joining me, the update today for iRacing, a major one, the Season 3 update, has rendered all of my broadcast overlays completely useless tonight. They will not respond. So at the stage caution, assuming that is the first yellow to come out in tonight's race, I'm going to attempt to make a fix. I'm not sure if that'll work or if it'll make it worse, but we'll at least give it a shot. Pit stops at the back. It's the 3 McCullough cars. Chris McCullough, Kenny McCullough, 2 of our playoff drivers, and Mark Mondell. That are the first pit stops of the race. 15 on the board. That likely means everybody else is going to try to come here in the next 2 to 3 laps. I would imagine that's about as far as you can run your tank. $15 on the board. It'll be 10 to go in stage 1 when they get back. And off turn 4, here come many of the leaders. We'll recap them for you in just a second as we wait, make sure everybody all gets on pit road, man. DJ Daniel, he was probably speeding, and J.R. Miller's in the grass. Playoff driver J.R. Miller's in the grass. On pit road, Garrett Maines, Andrew Navarro, Matthew Baker, DJ Daniel, Logan York, Devin Ray, Jeff Merck, Trevor Oswornoff, Michael Triscaro, Jared Haynes, Landon Velicki, DJ Daniel, and Chris McCullough, I believe, has received a speeding penalty on this first round of pit stops, and that means he is in a serious hole. Luckily for him, he's got the stage caution coming up in just a few laps if he can stay on the lead lap. Field working its way through 3 and 4. This group here is going to line up and come down for their pit stops. They'll be led on by Matt Lee. And this group will encompass Matt Lee, Dylan Jones, Daniel Eberhardt, Jason Maines, Kenny McCullough, or not Kenny McCullough, Mike Davenport. They have very similar looking cars. Brock Westmoreland and Nash Brambilla. And this will round out our first round of green flag pit stops. So as this group starts to kind of get sorted out, looks like maybe everyone will regain the draft. That third group back there with Landon Velicki is going to be awfully close. But I believe they might have it as well. We'll look back here. No, they do not. So this stage race is going to be a lot smaller, a lot more condensed than we had initially thought. We'll see how this group here coming off pit road fares. They're going to fare pretty well. As Maines will bypass them, he will inherit the lead. Back further, Jeff Merck and I believe Logan York have caught each other. They will catch on to the back of the lead group. So too will this next group. And actually, I think that group tailed up by Daniel Eberhardt's going to allow that Landon Velicky group to also catch the draft as bridge. So it might have worked out where we're going to have a lot of cars still in this race for the stage. It'll be lap 18 when they come around, lap 17 off, lap 18 on, 8 laps to go in stage number 1. Maines, Navarro, Baker, Ray, Oswernoth, your top 5 on the speedway. After that, it's Merck, Maines, York, Jones, and Westmoreland. And they start to jump topside. Merck, Jason Maines, Logan York all jump topside. A couple of other cars starting to peak further back now. So too does Matthew Baker. May have been a bit early. He's going to get a big push from his teammate here down the backstretch and headed into turn number 3, and we're getting racy. It's time to race for stage points because they are on the line for the playoff drivers tonight. Matt Lee goes a lane higher. He brings Jason Maines with him, and all of a sudden we're right back to 3 wide, and that's going to help us. Landon Velicky group, Merck throws a late block. 4 wide. How did Merck get out of that one? Jason Maines is stuck, and the top line will fizzle as Jeff Merck tried to jump in front of the third line and did it way too late. Garrett Maines, Andrew Navarro, side by side for the race lead. Big push on the bottom from Devin Ray. The 2 KSR teammates trying to get free of Andrew Navarro and trying to start to push their way forward, perhaps steal a win away from the playoff guys. It is lap 19, 7 to go in stage number 1. Down the backstretch, headed for turn 3. Andrew Navarro, Devin Ray now side by side for the lead. Let's see how much the bottom can surge through the banking of turns 3 and 4. Top side, Jeff Merck rolling. He brings Nash Brambilla with him in the 60 and the 23. 23 dives back out of line and leaves Jeff Merck out to dry. It'll be 6 laps to go when they get home here on the front straightaway. They'll lap by a couple cars here in just a moment. That's going to be Chris McCullough and one other car. I believe it might be J.R. Miller. We'll see here in a moment. 6 laps to go. Stage number 1 it is. J.R. Miller and Chris McCullough going a lap down this time by. The first 2 cars to go a lap down in the... Jimmy Emos already went a lap down a few moments ago. Oh, this is going to get interesting. They're going to squeeze them 4 here in 3 and 4. Yes, they are. Jason Maines, Matt Lee used the pull off the draft to try to get a little bit of headway. They're going to squeeze that line for trouble. Matt Lee's around. So too is Daniel Eberhardt, and they're crashing big time at the back of the field. Big damage to a couple of cars and a few playoff contenders. Matt Lee, Jeff Merck, all both with big damage, and it could be the night for the NBG entry of Jeff Merck and the nightmare entry of Matt Lee. Oh, man. And that is going to be the end of the night for Jeff Merck. He immediately jumps to his pit box. Wow. Go back and take a look at what triggered this wreck. They had just gotten 4 wide here in the middle of the corner. And what happens here? Oh, man. Chris McCullough comes off the wall and clips Matt Lee on his way by. Daniel Eberhardt gets hit by Merck, and then big hit right here. Michael Triscaro's got damage as well in this. So, oh, man, Chris gets collected after that. Merck blasts the outside wall and goes for a big-time spin up off the ground. You see it's terminal damage for the 60. Maybe not for Matt Lee, but pretty close. He loses the front end on his car. Chris McCullough and Michael Triscaro both got big hits in that as well. And, oh, man. Well, trying to get another look at it here. And watch Chris McCullough up top with J.R. Miller. They're 4 wide here for a moment. And I thought everything was going to be okay. Oh, Matt Lee has to chase it a little bit, too. Yeah, but look, Chris turns off the wall. I guess he may have scraped the wall. Turns off the fence, and you see Eberhardt get clipped by Merck, and then bang, there's the big hit right there. Merck on his former teammate. They collect Chris McCullough, and then another big hit on the outside wall for Jeff Merck. And not the start to the playoffs that Matt Lee or Jeff Merck or Chris McCullough wanted. 3 of our 16 playoff contenders, really 4 if you count Michael Triscaro, involved in that one in a big way. We'll take one more look, and then we'll go back to live action. I believe we're going to have a shootout here for the stage break. Let's see if either of these cameras give us anything. Nope, they don't, so we'll go up top. Well, even that's not going to give us much. There we go. Watch Chris and JR up in the top side. Do they get the wall? No. No obvious contact there. The 94 comes down off the wall and clips Matt Lee. And Matt Lee is a sitting duck here in the middle of the racetrack. Daniel Eberhardt know where he can go. He gets hit from behind by Merck, who gets hit from behind by Triscaro. Matt Lee into the outside wall hard. Jeff Merck. There, man. Big hit for Jeff Merck. His night is done. And he may not be the only one. So a big incident here on the opening stage will bring us into what I believe is going to be a 2-lap shootout for the stage break, where I will then attempt to fix my broadcast overlays. In fact, we're going to go ahead and get prepped for that. We're going to go to a quick break. We'll be right back. You won't miss a second of green flag action. We'll be back with you for the restart for the 2-lap shootout in stage number 1. Back live at Talladega, and I'm quickly realizing this is not going to be an instant fix in a stage break, so I believe we're just going to go without it tonight. We'll have it fixed for my next broadcast would be on Friday, I believe, for Super Speedway Kings. So I'll have it fixed by then. Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to be as quick a fix as I thought it was going to be, where I'll be able to do it under a yellow flag. So we'll have to fix it later. Again, the update completely ruined our overlays, so we'll have to just kind of wait and see on that front. Back into the restart zone. 2 laps to go in stage number 1. Navarro and Maines bring the field back into the restart zone, and it's 2 trips around Talladega for the stage win. Maines versus Navarro again. Playoff drivers eligible for stage points, meaning there will be points paid out here once we get to the end of lap number 25 for the top 5 on the racetrack. And while the guys at the front may have a big bonus, guys like Nash Brambilla, Mike Davenport, Trevor Osbornoff may not. Jason Maines, same thing, may not have a lot of bonus points. They may really kind of need this. They're going to try to get their lines to move, but for now, it's all Garrett Maines and Matthew Baker on the top side. Logan York pushing hard as well in the 0-2. It'll be the stage white flag when they get around here. One more lap around Talladega in stage number 1. As here comes the field to complete lap 24. And the outside line has no help. And that's going to allow Garrett Maines to breathe easy for a moment. 1 lap to go in stage number 1. Baker has the most bonus points of anybody on the racetrack, and Garrett Maines, I believe, is second in bonus points. So 2 guys that really don't need the points, but really are going to want the boost. Now the cavalry's arrived for the top lane, though. Does York have the temps? He starts to split. Baker jumps back up, and that may be all she wrote. The bottom lane now may be able to ride on home because the middle lane cannot figure out how they want to go about this. Navarro's going to jump up. He's going to look for the stage win. Does Garrett get all the way buried? Who goes 3 wide here off turn number 4? Looking for playoff points. Navarro to the outside of Maines. Baker the pusher. York looks a step higher. Westmoreland squeezes through the middle. Drag race all the way home for the stage. At the line, Garrett Maines wins stage 1 at Talladega. The caution flag is out. Here the cars coming out of the gas. Caution flag on the speedway. And that's the end of stage number 1. So the points going to Maines, Navarro, Ray, Osbornoff, Baker here in stage number 1, I believe. We'll see how they line up behind the pace car. So we're under the caution flag here in stage number 1, the end of stage 1, should I say, so these drivers will come to pit road. I am trying to figure out a fix. I believe some people have figured. Pretty silent here, not a lot to report to you. So the stage point's actually going to Maines, Navarro, York, Ray, and Baker. That's your top 5 in stage number 1. So as these drivers pit, we're going to go to another break. I have an idea. We found potentially a solution. We're going to go to one more break. Stay with us. You won't miss a second of Green Flag Racing. You're watching Run Morse Racing's Tuesday Night Thunder live on PGR eSports. We'll be right back. Back live at Talladega, and ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you, number one, curse this update. No, but on a serious note, number two, I've got some great news. We have an overlay. Now, I know we don't have a logo, but that's not something I can change right this second. But all we really wanted is the timing and scoring, and it's back. We have timing and scoring again on the left side of your screen. Again, the playoff drivers are notated with a lowercase p next to their names there in the parentheses. So, if I can be so candid here for a moment, as Jason Maines leads under our second caution of the night, if I can be so candid for a moment as the field racks up one to go, when I found the solution, which actually is a pretty common problem that was being had today as a result of this major update. It was a very large update, by the way. Upwards of 23 gigabytes is what I had, and I don't even have all of the content within iRacing, so I'm sure it was much more than that for some others. And I'll tell you, when I saw the solution a moment ago, if I can be so candid, I I'm not even sure how to put it. I'm stunned. I'm at a loss for words. So, nonetheless, we're back. We have overlay at least here under this caution. So we will again be just fine. Now you will see the lap counter on the left side of your screen, and we will try to work on getting logos back. I'm not sure if we'll be able to do that or not. I'm trying, but yeah, we'll have to do that a little bit later on, but no worries. We've got overlays. We're all good. Here we go. There are 46 laps to go in Tuesday Night Thunder's playoff opener, and we're ready to get it back underway. It's father and son on the front row. Jason Maines and Garrett Maines. Green flag is back in the air. We're racing once again in Tuesday Night Thunder. They climb the banking in turns 1 and 2. Again, lap 30 on the board as the field works its way through the banking of the corners and onto the Alabama Gang Super Stretch for the first time in Stage 2. Notably, Landon Velicki trying to play playoff spoiler tonight, so too the man behind him, Devin Ray. Mark Von Dill, Dylan Jones, DJ Daniel, Daniel Eberhardt as well have some plans to play spoiler as the night continues to go on. Garrett top to bottom. Velicki now in line with Ray and Mike Davenport as the field works its way through 3 and 4 and onto the front straightaway with lap 30 almost complete. We'll see pit stops somewhere around lap 42 to 45, and then again somewhere between lap 57 and lap 60. So keep that in mind. There are 2 pit stops left in tonight's race instead of 1. Really, I think it's normally 2, but tonight it's definitely more than 2. On the outside, the newcomer, Landon Velicki, pushed by Devin Ray in the 2. Jared Haynes, DJ Daniel, Dylan Jones coming to the rescue. And the Auburn Tigers Ford Mustang is up the outside. He wants the race lead over Garrett Maines. Velicki has burst on the scene like I was talking about earlier, and he has made an impact early and often in his money racing career, and he's doing so again tonight, running well inside the top 10 and now inside the top 5, and a moment ago was the leader on your timing and scoring at Talladega Superspeedway. Garrett Maines leads that time by with the push of Velicki. 44 laps remain in this race as Triscaro and York up the outside lane. DJ Daniel jumps up there in front of Michael Triscaro, and now that third line is chugging. up against the outside safer barrier. Does anybody jump out in front of it? Jared Haynes says no. Devin Ray appears to also be saying no. Let's see if maybe Landon Velicky, maybe no. Garrett Maines jumps back to the bottom because here comes the third lane. And it's the multicolor 96 Ford Mustang of DJ Daniel, who almost won in one of his first money races here, at least in this modern version of money racing. A few nights ago, he almost went to victory lane, and he's going to lead the field here maybe for a moment. He might lead this lap at Talladega with a push of Michael Triscaro, and it's a big-time push that gets him all the way to the race lead. DJ Daniel, how about that surge to the outside of the leaders? And now jumps down in front of Garrett Maines. How long will Garrett Maines be patient here? I can't imagine it'll be very long, but he's staying in line for now. So too is Jason. Both will be clear as they head for turn number 3. Well, at least Garrett still will be. Third lane still trying to roll because Triscaro and York are now falling off the middle lane. Garrett and Jason both clear. Let's see if they both jump to the outside here of the DJ Daniel machine. Jason Maines takes a look. Landon Velicky going to go a lane higher. Devin Ray has to decide where he's going to go. He stays in line, and now Garrett and Jason will jump to the middle lane and now come all the way around DJ Daniel and go right back to the lead. 42 laps to go at Talladega. Triscaro and York still trying to make headway as Garrett and Jason Maines drop inside their 1-2 in 1 and 2. Closing in on 40 laps to go. Matthew Baker is stalled right about the 12th position. Can't get really any closer to the front than that, the way they're running right now. Down the backstretch and headed for turn number 3. It is Garrett Maines, Jason Maines, Landon Velicky, Michael Triscaro, and Devin Ray currently scored as the top 5 on the racetrack. Middle lane, now the place to be. Garrett jumps up in front of Velicky. Velicky trying to square on his bumper, but can't yet. Now he will, but allows Jason Maines right up back alongside the 1. Triscaro, York, Baker still working that third lane, and now York maybe looking for a fourth lane. He thought about it. Garrett middle to bottom. Next time by 40 laps to go. Logan York drops out. Matthew Baker drops out. Triscaro now all by his lonesome. And now he will also drop in behind Jared Haynes and in front of Logan York. Maines, Velicky, Jason Maines, DJ Daniel, Devin Ray. Now your top 5 on the speedway. Next time by 40 laps to go. Garrett Maines back to the middle. He's lane controlling very well right now. But these guys are playing nice. Again, could be anywhere from 8 to 10 laps until pit stops. Garrett Maines, Jason Maines continue to lead the bottom. We have a moment of calm, a rare moment of calm in Tuesday Night Thunder. Do want to thank some of you out there in the chat. Danilda Adams, good to see you. As always, rooting for Matthew Baker. Currently stalled out back there around the 13th position. 7 C's events. Noting all the changes. And yeah, look, the changes today were radical on a couple of the cars on the service. This car was not one of them, but the Craftsman trucks were. You'll see that car on Friday, and I'll tell you from some videos I saw on social media today, you're going to want to tune in on Friday because we're going to have some interesting racing. They changed the downforce, they changed the handling, they changed a lot of things about that car. As Landon Velicky will take another turn out front, he'll lead lap 36. But yes, the truck is completely different. All the setups have to be changed. I know that setups for this week will have to be changed in the official series. And whoa, oh man, big blink out from Landon Velicky. But yeah, this update completely radically changed the Craftsman trucks. We got a whole new truck update to kind of unpack. I added some new cars. I know a couple new GT3 Endurance cars were added today. I know the tracks were changed a little bit as part of the iRacing Oval Refresh project, where they're trying to make ovals a little bit more realistic to real life, how they react to weather, to rubber, to the cars going around, rubbering up a groove. They're trying to make tracks react to that live at real time. So a very big update today, a very stacked update full of new features as iRacing continues to update their physics and try to get closer to realism. Mark Math, good to see you. Hate to not see you on track. He's not in the field tonight. But good to see you in the chat, man. Bottom lane just disintegrated there as Garrett Maines went up. Both top two cars on the middle lane are clear. And speaking of that second car in the middle lane, Devin Ray was in the chat a couple times tonight as well. As he is on track in the brand new Bucked Up Energy Chevrolet. He had the new paint on the truck for a couple weeks and now transitions it to the Xfinity Series car as well. That's a sharp-looking paint running second on the inside line behind Garrett Maines. Almost contact Maines and Jared Haynes right there. Jared Haynes coming to the front, Michael Triscaro, Logan York, Daniel Eberhardt, Matthew Baker in tow on the top side as we close in on lap 40 of 75. Jared Haynes now is going to take a turn out front. He gets pushed to the front by Michael Triscaro. He'll jump in front of Garrett Maines and take his turn leading. Haynes, Triscaro, Maines, York, Ray, and Eberhardt. And then Baker and Velicky. That's the two wide cars. As again, we almost had another one cycle down. Lap 40 on the board. Most everybody is now on the bottom side of the racetrack with the exception of Michael Triscaro, Logan York, and Daniel Eberhardt. They're the only three cars left. Well, right as I say that, there goes Garrett Maines. As he will test the outside once again with the help of Triscaro. They'll get all the way around. It's going to allow Logan York to grab back some of those temps he lost on that last run. And be able to push Michael Triscaro, perhaps try to get him and Triscaro clear here before the pit stop in just a few laps. But now Eberhardt rolls into a gap in front of Matthew Baker, and that makes the task that much harder for the 0-2 and the 34. Off turn 2 down the backstretch once again, lap 41 on the board, and yeah, that group is losing steam. They're going to have to make gaps here in line, try to find their way into the bottom side of the racetrack with very few laps to go until pit stops. Garrett Maines continues to lead the way, 35 laps to go. We're just past halfway in Tuesday Night Thunder. Again, glad you've joined us. Triscaro York still trying to get down. It's just not going to happen. Kenny McCullough is up further back. So is Mark Vondell. I'm just not sure these guys are going to be able to make it happen. There's a big gap back there behind Landon Velicky if they could back up and see it, but they're hanging tough for now. Again, I think now I think they might have understood. Okay, there's a gap back there. Well, now the gap starts to close. And now it's not there anymore. New York realizes he's going to have to find it. There he goes. He finds it in front of Daniel Eberhardt. Triscaro's got a little bit of company coming, though. So hold the phone. Michael Triscaro's got some help. Kenny McCullough, Andrew Navarro, Dylan Jones, Mark Vondell have found the True Value Chevrolet, the IROC-style Chevrolet of Michael Triscaro, and they're going to roll forward to help arrive at the perfect point for Michael Triscaro. Of course, I want to congratulate Mike on the birth of their newest child this past week. In fact, the other night. So congratulations to Mike and family. That's a huge moment. It's a special moment for them. So we congratulate them. Jared Haynes, Landon Velicky, and Jason Maines coming to pit road are the first takers on this cycle, and I'm not sure if they'll be able to make the end of the race. These guys have to go. Reminder, about 15 laps to tank puts these guys having to go until about lap 45, 46 to be able to make it. If they pit this time, this becomes a fuel mileage race. And boy, what a spoiler moment this race could be if it turns into fuel mileage. Triscaro the leader. Main's back to second. Kenny McCullough, Devin Ray battle for third. And here comes some of the leaders. And ladies and gentlemen, this just turned into a field strat race. Oh, Kenny McCullough locking him up. Did he get down to speed? I don't know. We'll wait on the 0-3. We'll keep an eye on him and see if he's able to get out of his pit box or if he does have to eat a speeding penalty there. It was awfully close. Everybody else into their box, A-OK. Oh, not everybody. Garrett Main slides through. Does he get out okay? If he gets out with these guys, he'll still be fine. He's going to lose track position, but he'll maintain the group. And the one car that did not leave pit road was Kenny McCullough. So a penalty for the 0-3. Here come the remainder of the field, and this is going to be the group I think that might be good on gas. Dylan Jones, he's awfully quick. So too is Navarro. Oh, man, Baker gets hit by Osbornoff. Osbornoff goes for a slide. Trevor Osbornoff is out of shape, and now he has problems on pit road. Man. Pit road bites multiple guys. DJ Daniel had problems as well. And the playoff guys are having some problems on the pit lane. And Dylan Jones eats a pit road penalty in the 11. And so does Trevor Osbornoff. Oh, no. Osbornoff actually back off pit road. Will he be able to blend with these leaders? I don't know. We'll have to keep an eye on him. It's going to be close. And I don't think he's going to. So perhaps a fatal error from Trevor Osbornoff as well. Navarro, Eberhardt, Baker, Brambillo, Westmoreland are clear of the other leaders. They had the by far best pit stop. But they've got company coming in the rearview mirror in the form of Michael Triscaro and company. And whoa, what just happened to Baker? What's going on with all these guys? They're spreading out. Baker's got major rear end damage here. Not hindering the speed. Eberhardt and Navarro, what are they doing? They're all the way up on the top side. The field's going to come flashing by. What in the world is going on? Navarro and Eberhardt, they go all the way to the back and file in. Man, I'm not sure what happened there. But nonetheless, these are some of the guys we don't think can make it. Devin Ray is one of them. I mean, I don't know if he can make it from here. I think the group that pit with Matthew Baker is going to be really close. They're right on the edge of making it. You see Matthew Baker, he's saving. And he is saving a ton. Maybe that's what he was doing right there. He's backing it up way far. He is way out of the throttle. He is saving with all he can. Look at how far off Garrett Maines he is. Wow. So he's saving. I think further back, Mike Davenport might be saving. Brock Westmoreland appears to be saving. So we got some fuel saving going on here at the front. The only guys that are not right now, Devin Ray and Jared Haynes, are really kind of Landon Velicki as well. But, I mean, if you're those three, to be fair, if you're these guys at the front, you kind of want to push the pace. Make the guys behind you go faster. Make them not be able to save as much fuel so that they can't make it. J.R. Miller goes a second lap down the field as they pass him here in turns 1 and 2. Kenny McCullough will go a lap down as the field passes him here in 1 and 2. Next car up, Dylan Jones, about 7 seconds in front of the leaders right now. Then it would be DJ Daniel and Trevor Osborne. Lap 50 will go on the board. We'll reach the 2/3 mark about a lap from now. The drivers pass by to conclude lap 50. Trouble! Devin Ray, right as I looked up at scoring, he gets turned in a big way, and there's one other car involved. I can't tell who that is. It was on his roof. Boy, my apologies for missing. I literally had just looked up at the scoring pylon to check some lap times, some lap cars and things like that, and I looked back down, and my goodness. What happened here? Do we see the right rear net code? No, that's straight up contact. Jared Haynes coming down the hill, makes contact with Devin Ray. Look at this hit to the outside wall. This is going to end another playoff guy's night. Jared Haynes is done for. I mean, that car, I think, torpedoed when it hit the outside wall. And slides on its side to rest here just past the start-finish line. Ah, man. I mean, there's no pushing. He's coming down a side draft and hooks Devin Ray. And a mammoth hit to the outside wall for both cars. Haynes leaps in the air and then comes to rest on his left side, on his driver's door. And again, you might ask, well, how'd you miss that? Well, I literally had just looked over at my timing and scoring, which is on a different screen. And I looked back, and we got 2 cars destroyed. Take another couple looks at it here. I mean, he's coming down the hill. I don't know. He's trying to side draft, I guess, and avoidable, in my opinion. That's nothing against Jared Haynes at all. It's just nothing egregious, but it certainly is avoidable. There's only 2 cars on the top side, and the bottom lane's got all the energy, and Haynes tries to side draft to keep himself up there. A common tactic, by the way. We all do it. I'm not saying that side drafting is bad. Believe me, if you've ever raced with me on track, you'd understand that I do not think that at all. In fact, I'm one of the most stingy side drafters. But in this case, it felt avoidable. It felt like it was a moment where you really don't need to be doing it. We're going to go on board here with Jared Haynes. I want to show you the magnitude of this hit. You're on board with Jared Haynes, and watch this hit. And up on his side. And look at how long he slides over here on his driver's door. Actually comes back on the wheels, but you can hear that car had powered down long before that. Huh? No, it had not. Okay, I don't know. I don't know how that car's still running. Anyway, we're going on board with Devin Ray as well. Oh. Wow. All right, so our third caution flag of the night comes out with 25 laps to go. And several cars will pit, Nash Brambilla among them. So we'll try this again, and now we're in the territory of there's 1 pit stop remaining for sure now. Everybody who couldn't make it before, that is a mulligan. That is a lifeline to those drivers that were not going to make it on our last run. Now everyone, we presume, can make to the last pit stop, which I would figure would take place just inside of 10 laps to go. All right, let's reset the stage for you. Garrett Maines is the leader with Brock Westmoreland second. Row 2, Michael Triscaro and Andrew Navarro. Row 3 will be Mike Davenport, Jason Maines. Row 4 will be Landon Velicky and Mark Vondell. And then from there on back, Logan York will be 9th. Daniel Eberhardt scored 10th. It'll be Trevor Osbornoth scored in 11th, so that's a lifeline for him, as well as Dylan Jones, as well as Kenny McCullough in 12th and 13th. Nash Brambilla runs in 14th. TJ Daniel in 15th. Matthew Baker in 16th. Devin Ray in 17th. And then you have the cars laps down. J.R. Miller is 1 lap down in 18th. Jimmy Emos is 2 laps down, I believe, in 19th. Jared Haynes is multiple laps down in 20th. Chris McCullough multiple laps down in 21st. Matt Lee called it a night a while ago on lap 31. He'll be credited tonight with 22nd. And Jeff Merck will be credited with 33rd. Somehow, Devin Ray is still on the racetrack. I'm not sure how. He's got a lot of damage, but we'll see how that car is able to keep up. For the rest of these guys now, with several playoff guys having major trouble, namely Matt Lee, Jeff Merck, Chris McCullough, Jared Haynes, and J.R. Miller, with 5 of those guys now in problems, it means so much more to get a good finish. And these guys up here at the front are going to try to do just that. 23 laps to go at Talladega. Garrett Maines and Brock Westmoreland bring the field down to the restart zone as we await another restart. Green flag is back in the air. And we're back underway with 23 laps to go. Garrett Maines easily cleared the lead with the help of Michael Triscaro. Outside, not rolling yet. Westmoreland, Navarro, Maines, Vondell. And further back, watch for guys to start to make moves. Devin Ray going to get hung out pretty quickly here. It's Eberhardt and Dylan Jones that jump in beside him. As the field rockets through 3 and 4, we're closing in on 20 laps to go. Glad you joined us. If you're just joining me, the opening race of the Tuesday Night Thunder playoffs. Garrett Maines establishes now a 12-point advantage to the cut line. Matthew Baker's advantage, I believe, is up to 18 points above the cut line. Navarro's, I believe, is close to 5. I'll double-check that for you. I believe he got 3rd in the stage. He would be 3 points above the cut line. Well, actually, no, he'd be 3 points above the cut line. And actually, Logan New York is now 6 above the cut line. I believe Navarro is 2 above. And again, trying to keep up with live points with all the stuff you can get points for and all the overlay problems tonight's a little bit tough. Try to do a better job of that next week when the points actually come down to it. And we are racing to establish the round of 8. Down the front straightaway, headed for the tri-oval. It's Westmoreland now to the lead with Navarro alongside, and several playoff drivers are deep in the field. We'll note them for you now. Nash Brambilla is the furthest running playoff driver on the lead lap. He's 15th. 3rd from the end of the line back there. Trevor Osbornoth scored right now in 13th. Matthew Baker in 11th. Kenny McCullough in 8th. The top 8 on the racetrack are all playoff cars as they run on the speedway. I'm trying to figure out where the disconnect is. Oh, no, there's not one. Top 8 cars are playoff cars still. When they come around, it'll be 20 laps to go. And these 8 right here at the front, if they all finish where they were right now, it would establish a pretty decent situation for next week. But up the outside, Matthew Baker says, I will not go quietly. He brings Landon Velicky to the outside, and they're going to go for it here with 20 to go. Matthew Baker having a little bit of second thoughts. They're going to have probably one more car jump out there with them, and here comes the cavalry. Dylan Jones to the outside. Mark Vondell going to look up there as well. Here comes the top side upstairs. Landon Velicky, the 62. Matthew Baker in the 5. The regular season champ, he has a big points advantage to the cut right now, but he'd love to just win himself into the next round. So too would all of these drivers here at the front of the field, as now the top 9 cars, or excuse me, 8 of the top 10 cars are playoff drivers. Outside line rolls. 19 laps to go at the line, and it's Westmoreland that leads, but not by much, over Landon Veliky. Landon Veliky trying to place for the first time on the podium in his Tuesday Night Thunder career. Brock Westmoreland trying to pull off an upset win and get himself in the round of 8. Garrett Maines trying to one-up Matthew Baker and be the first driver locked in to the next round. Behind them, a pack of hungry wolves. And this is where the racing starts to get good. There is still a pit stop to go. We expect it in about 10 laps from right now, maybe less. Garrett Maines back to the bottom. He'll go back to the race lead. Michael Triscaro all over him with a PGR teammate in behind him and Mike Davenport. Topside begins to fade. They need one more car up there, I think. One car in front of Landon Veliky, and it probably will work. And splitting out further back, they might go 4 wide for a moment to the back of the field. 18 laps to go this time by. Maines and Westmoreland touch doors. A door slam. Logan York now up the outside. He's going to join the cavalry. He's going to look for. Logan York goes to a 4th lane on the end of the back straightaway. Does anybody go with him? They'll go back to 3 for now, but Logan York doesn't show any signs of stopping there. He's going to continue to stick the nose out there. But now he's only 4th on the top side. New leader, Westmoreland, went middle to top to pick up Landon Veliky. Andrew Navarro now with the lead with Garrett Maines to his inside. And now Veliky has some fresh temps. Can he start to make the pushes happen up top? None of the other guys on the racetrack have as fresh attempts as the 62. 17 laps to go at Talladega, and Brock Westmoreland again goes back to the lead for Team PGR. Westmoreland, Navarro, Maines, a trio of playoff drivers. 1, 2, 3, and elbow to elbow for the race lead. Navarro's going to get clear of Garrett. He may go down there. Nope, not clear for long. Triscaro gets Garrett back alongside the leaders. But now the top side will roll all the way down the Alabama Gang Super Stretch. Brock Westmoreland powers to the outside of the field. He'll take it all the way to the bottom, headed for turn number 3. Veliky gets stuck, but it allowed Matthew Baker perhaps a moment to cool. Brock Westmoreland, power moves to the outside. He wants a victory. Off turn number 4. Down again to the start-finish line. Westmoreland drifting up a little bit. Got to watch that split with Andrew Navarro. Here comes the top side again, but it's Garrett Maines that will re-inherit the lead. 16 laps to go this time by. Remember, a pit stop still to come. These guys are racing like there's not one. There is still a pit stop. Brock Westmoreland continues to power all the way around the outside and get back to the race lead, but not for long. Here comes Navarro. Veliky, one last charge, probably up the outside. Is going to have to rely on Navarro getting clear. Westmoreland hangs a left. Something happened to the 4 car at the end of the back straightaway. He has to try to blend back with the pack. Not sure what happened there. Westmoreland will try to regain his draft position, but it's going to be awfully close. Already 6 tenths back, now 7 tenths back of the field. Landon Veliky again will go to the race lead. He may get all the way clear here. He's running awfully high at the end of the tri-oval, but he'll jump down across Navarro. Landon Veliky, can he play spoiler? 15 laps to go. Veliky back to the lead. Not clear of the bottom. Matthew Baker, Logan York, and the lap cars of J.R. Miller and Jimmy Emos now try to regain and get that top lane rolling once again, but on the bottom side. Another surge. This time it's Jason Maines. Veliky now will push the 12 down the super stretch. It's Triscaro pushing on Garrett Maines on the bottom side, with now Mike Davenport and Kenny McCullough in tow. Father and son side by side up the banking in 3. Garrett Maines back to the lead. Michael Triscaro, a spirited push. Mike, what a week it's been for him. What a crazy, wild week it's been for Michael Triscaro. Can he get the job done? What a victory this would be for the 34. 14 laps to go at Talladega. Matthew Baker and Logan York trying again to rear up the outside line and get it rolling towards the front, but it's not happening right now. Garrett Maines back across the bottom. He's been able to lane control this entire night. Can he finish the job? Triscaro trying to push himself clear, maybe get himself in a spot to potentially try to win this race. In the middle, Jason Maines, Landon Veliky, Andrew Navarro, Dylan Jones. York drops out, and now Baker going to have to regroup again. The 4-time winner this season's out of answers in the 5. He's going to have a good pit stop. That's what it is. You're going to have a dynamite pit stop if you're the 5 car to have a chance to win this race. Brock Westmoreland lost the draft. He's now 5.5 seconds back of the leaders. 13 laps to go. Pit stop's coming up any second. Devin Ray about to go a lap down. And then it's clean track for the race leaders from then on out. Probably for the remainder of the race. Garrett and Jason Maines side by side down the backstretch. Michael Triscaro, Landon Veliky pushing hard on them. No line has been able to find any kind of momentum. They're going to all have to start to transition down because again, a pit stop still to come. Who will find the edge? Landon Veliky, Dylan Jones trying to play playoff spoiler. But most of the top 13 cars are playoff drivers. It is 12 laps to go. We are inside the pit window. If you pit now, you can make it all the way. And we've traditionally seen that the second group to pit has fared better than the first. Through turns 1 and 2. Again off turn 2 and down the back straight away they come. Garrett and Jason Maines side by side for the race lead. And these cars topside, there's still a lot of them this time. 8 on the top side of the racetrack. Now make it 7. Jason Maines down in front of Garrett. Veliky, Navarro, and company now make up that top lane. Coming down to 11 laps to go, and this kind of feels like the lap that I had anticipated for a pit stop. Either this time or next time. But I tell you, they're not moving. Those guys topside aren't moving. They're not panicking. Which tells me that maybe they can go a little bit longer than I had anticipated that they can go. Maybe another couple laps under the tank, perhaps, for these leaders. How long will the tank last? Will anybody come here with 11 laps to go? No. Baker, Eberhardt going to try topside one more time. I don't see Logan York staying in line. I think he jumps out in front of it. Not going to have a chance. Baker and Eberhardt to his outside. 10 laps to go. It'll tick to single digits next time by. Jason Maines, Garrett Maines, Michael Triscaro bottom. Veliky, Navarro, Jones middle. Baker, Eberhardt, Von Dell, I believe the cars, or excuse me, J.R. Miller, the lap car up in the top side. Oh, man, Eberhardt will wiggle there at the end of the backstretch, and that's going to kill that momentum. Off turn 4 with 10 laps to go. Any takers this time around? Again, no. We'll go another one at least. Through turns 1 and 2, Westmoreland goes a lap down as he makes his pit stop. Again, it's clean track for the leaders now for the rest of the race. Landon Veliky. That was the biggest shove forward yet the outside's had in a minute. Off turn 4 with 9 laps to go, and now the pit stops begin. Jason Maines, Garrett Maines. Oh, Jimmy Emos in the wall at the back of the pack. So Garrett, Jason, Michael Triscaro, Landon Veliky, Mike Davenport, Logan York, Trevor Oswornoth, Kenny McCullough, Matthew Baker, Mark Vondell, and DJ Daniel all make pit stops, and that leaves 4 cars on the speedway. 5, you count J.R. Miller, the lap machine in behind the leaders. Navarro, Jones, Brambilla, Eberhardt are the 4 lead lap cars still on the speedway with 8 laps to go. They will have to come to pit road this time by. So here we go. Final round of pit stops for this driver as those others are off pit road. Here they come. Navarro, Brambilla, Jones, Eberhardt, and the lap car of J.R. Miller all going to make their final pit stops with 8 laps to go. Again, Jones and Navarro lock up the tires. But they are on pit road for the final time. What a pit stop for Trevor Osworth. How in the world did he come out third? He was 5th, 6th, 7th in line, and somehow he manages to end up third. Here comes that line behind him, though. They got a big draft. They're going to start to pile around the outside. Triscaro's going to try to throw a block, and he will throw a block on Landon Velicki. Davenport wasn't quick enough. Does Osworth throw one here with 7 laps to go? He does not. He's thinking about it. He started to, but now he fades back down in line. The run was too big. He still might be able to surge. Now that top lane starts to kind of give way a little bit. Jason Maines thought about it, but no cigar. Logan York to the outside. Here comes the lead group off turn 2, and this is going to get awfully interesting because that group beat them off pit road, but they're not going to beat them back to the punch of the gas pedal. Garrett Maines and company around the outside. Triscaro will have to wash to the safer barrier. They're not together enough to be able to maintain the leaders here, or at least be able to hold them off, should I say. Dylan Jones and Navarro might be able to, but this pack is going awfully quickly. It'll be 6 laps to go when they come around to the start-finish line. Jason Maines, quick-fire move around the outside of Garrett. Trevor Osworth will push him, and now Osworth will be second. Trevor Osworth is yet to win a race this season in Tuesday Night Thunder. Neither has Michael Triscaro, neither has Mike Davenport, neither has Jason Maines. Our top 4. Oh, trouble! They wreck right at the front. Osworth goes sliding sideways. So too does Davenport. Kenny McCullough gets wrecked further up. Caution flag waves. And again, a wreck involving the playoff contenders. And again, for the 4th time in this race, a wreck involving playoff contenders. See what happened here off turn number 2. Oh, man, a bad push on the bottom. Not sure what happened down there, but Jason Maines got hooked sideways. Davenport, Triscaro come together. Landon Velicki gets a piece of it. Osworth somehow saves this car. I have no idea how. As Velicki comes off the wall, he'll collect Kenny McCullough. And we got to figure out, we got to dissect what happened on the bottom here, because that's what started this wreck. Let's see if we can't figure out what happened here on the bottom. Oh, Jason Maines with a very, very late clear down. And you're going to see Garrett, I don't think he lifts at all. He really, I say he can't afford to. He does have a bit of a gap to Navarro, but this late in the race, you're not really going to lift that much. He's going to try to give Jason a hit. And when he does, it just completely jacks up to 12 and shoots him to his right. And that collects Osworth, Davenport, and it is on from there. And watch Trevor Osworth here. How in the world did he save that car? Well, he ended up coming through a spin, but how did he not get hit? You see Davenport and McCullough come together there at the end. You're on board with Matthew Baker. Whoa! The 4-time winner. A little bit of luck there. And now the onboard everybody wants to see And that is Trevor Osbornoff. Let's wow. I'm not sure how he didn't get hit or how he didn't hit anything. But Osbornoff survives. The same cannot be said for Davenport, Velicky, or Kenny McCullough. Although all three are still going to continue trying to run, all three have some damage. And it resets the field with what is going to be, I think, an overtime race start. Oh, maybe not. No, it will not be an overtime race start. This is an organic green-white checkered. A good time to remind you, we have 3 attempts at a green-white checkered should this attempt not be enough. This is an organic attempt at a green-white checkered. So technically, if you want to think about it this way, we have 4 attempts. If you want to count this one coming up, that is an organic green-white checkered finish. So it still will be a green-white checkered. It just will be laps 74 and 75 still in the scheduled distance. To determine who's going to win this race, playoff drivers top 3, Baker, Maines, Navarro. Then it'll be Dylan Jones and Landon Velicky, the top 5. Rest of the top 10, Daniel Eberhardt, Logan York, Nash Rambilla, Mark Vondell, and Kenny McCullough. Rest of the cars that are still on the lead lap would be DJ Daniel in 11th, Brock Westmoreland in 12th, big lifeline for him. Jason Maines in 13th, Trevor Osbornoff in 14th. J.R. Miller is back on the lead lap in 15th. And then Mike Davenport and Michael Triscaro are 16th and 17th. The cars that are laps down. Christopher McCullough is 2 laps down. Devin Ray and Jimmy Emos are 3 laps down. Excuse me, Jimmy Emos is 4 laps down. Jared Haynes, Jeff Merck, and Matt Lee have all called it a night. All right, here we go. Who you got on this restart? Who you picking to win tonight's race number 13 at Talladega here in the Tuesday Night Thunder series? You ask me. I think the favorite's probably Baker, based on his luck tonight, combined with the fact he's the only guy with 4 wins. Who would you expect to win the playoff opener but Matthew Baker? And a dark horse pick? Give me Landon Velicky. See if we can make some noise here on this race start. Dylan Jones also a good pick running in 4th. Although, don't look too far back, PGR teammates have kind of found each other here with just a few laps to go. Nash Rambilla and Brock Westmoreland only separated by 2 rows. They could make this interesting as well. Here we go. 2 laps to go. This is not an overtime attempt. This is an organic green-white checkered. So this still is inside of the scheduled distance. Will we finish it right here? Will we need some overtime attempts? The pace car drops to pit road and hits what could be its final left turn of the night. Matthew Baker looking for win number 5 of the season. Maines looking for win number 3. Into the tri-oval for potentially the final race start. Green flag is back in the air. 2 laps to go at Talladega. Great start on the top side. Baker is already half a car length behind. Garrett Maines got the restart of his life on the outside of the racetrack. The bottom will surge in the entrance of turn number 1 and 2. But Garrett Maines is going to be in the catbird seat. This is by the time they reach the end of the Alabama Gang Super Stretch. Osbornoff the outside lane. So too is Jason Maines. They waste no time jumping to the outside. Will anybody go with him? Kenny McCullough looks up there. Does he have too much damage? The 0-3 is up in front of those 2 cars on the outside lane. Garrett Maines to the lead. Here comes Dylan Jones to his right quarter panel. Trouble in the back. Kenny McCullough. Oh, my goodness. Trevor Osbornoff just did a barrel roll. He's in the catch fencing. He cartwheels down the speedway. His teammate Devin Ray involved, and so too is Kenny McCullough. DJ Daniel as well. And Osbornoff's night comes to an end. Another playoff driver that suffers the consequences of Talladega Superspeedway. Let's see what happened here. This will send us into overtime, by the way. So a bad push here from the 89. There's some rear-end damage on Kenny McCullough's car. Yeah, McCullough coming down. Actually, DJ Daniels coming up as well in the 96. And look at this wreck for Trevin Osborne. I mean, this is... Oh, my goodness. I've never even seen one of these cars move like that. Devin Ray. Oh, man, Devin Ray is actually who vaults his teammate up into the catch fencing. And much in the style of... Was it Dennis Setzer back in 2009? 2010, whatever year that was? He destroys some of the catch fencing up in turns 3 and 4 before coming back to rest with a severely damaged race car. Go with me here, because I'm hoping we get a good view of this. We're going to go to the wall cam. I'm hoping we get a good view of Trevin Osborne coming by the camera here. The wreck will have started by the time we get back to the replay, but that's not why we're watching this angle. We're watching this angle. Oh, it might happen actually well before. And you see him over there in the corner of the frame, and it's going to happen well before our camera. Oh, well, hang on. Watch this close flyby. And our camera's gone. Our camera just got taken out by Trevor Osborne. We'll go from up top. Again, give you an idea of what started this one. Then we're going to go on board with the 89 for the second time tonight. You see going into 3. Watch this push right here from Osborne to McCullough. You see him get out of shape. And DJ Daniel just happens to be rolling a little bit up the racetrack at the same time. And watch this wild ride for Trevor Osborne. Oh, man. Kenny actually gets up on his side as well. Oh, Michael Triscaro. Oh, I didn't even see that the first time. He clobbers DJ Daniel. So his night will be over as well. And Osborne climbs the catch fencing and ends up coming to rest with a severely damaged race car in the grass. His night as well is done. We're going to ride on board with him. Be ready for this one. You might get a little bit dizzy here towards the end of this. You're on board with Trevor Osborne off the 89. Man. A wild ride for Trevor nonetheless. And that sets us up with a late race restart. This will be an overtime attempt. We are down to 13 cars on the lead lap of 23 that started. 5th caution flag of the night. 4th for an incident. We will re-rack for another overtime attempt. Here we go. We'll re-rack the field for you. Matthew Baker, Garrett Maines on row 1. Dylan Jones, Andrew Navarro on row 2. Daniel Eberhardt, Landon Vetlicki on row 3. Nash Brambilla, Brock Westmoreland on row number 4. It is Jason Maines, Mark Vondell rounding out the top 5. And the rest of the lead lap cars, Logan York, J.R. Miller, Mike Davenport, and somehow Michael Triscaro, although I think his car has some critical damage to it. So we're down to about 13 that will contend for the win right here, which is about the lowest number we've had all season in Tuesday Night Thunder. So this will be an overtime attempt. Can Matthew Baker cash in on his 5th win of the year? Can Garrett Maines get another win on the season? How about Andrew Navarro? Can he go to victory lane for the first time this season? Can Dylan Jones punch his ticket to victory lane? Daniel Eberhardt, he returned last week to Money Racing altogether. He'd like to get back to victory lane. And the newcomer, Landon Velicki, would love to steal one away from these guys. And there's a bunch of hungry playoff cars behind them that you know aren't going to hang where they're at. I'm looking at Logan York. I'm looking at Brock Westmoreland. Looking at J.R. Miller. Mike Davenport, Jason Maines, Nash Rambilla. These are not guys that are going to ride where they're at. They're going to go for it. Into the restart zone for, again, potentially the final time. This is overtime attempt number 1. Green flag is in the air. We're back racing at Talladega again. Pretty even start, bottom and top. Baker and Maines will be door-to-door as they climb the banking. Who is the first to look 3 wide? You know someone's going to. You just don't know who it's going to be. Off turn 2, down the backstretch. Oh, Baker! He almost gets turned off. Dylan Jones, the bottom lane. Fades, and now Baker is lead pusher on the bottom. Navarro is the leader. Top side, here comes Jason Maines. He's the first to move. Jason Maines the first to go 3 wide. They don't have enough cars, and Logan York sees it and jumps back out of line. Navarro, the leader on the top side. Baker trying to push himself clear on the bottom. The field off turn number 4 will come back. They'll see the white flag when they get here. Can they make it through the trial for the potentially the penultimate time? Matthew Baker, you know he's going to try to get himself clear and go win race number 5. White flag, we're going to decide it right here. 1 lap to go at Talladega. Garrett Maines, Andrew Navarro, elbow to elbow in turn number 1. Matthew Baker trying to push his way clear on the bottom at Landon Velicki. Does he take a jump 3 wide? Does he stick where he's at in 4th? Logan York jumps high. Jason Maines looks with him. Velicki may look as well. Down the backstretch for potentially the final time. Elbow to elbow, side by side, door to door as they head for turn 3. Velicki jumps out of line. He picks up Logan York. Do they have enough steam to get all the way home? Landon Velicki trying to steal one here at the end. Matthew Baker's going to get a look. He's going to look. Maines blocks once. Baker stays middle. Now waits on the top side to try to come back to him. Matthew Baker leans outside of Garrett Maines. Maines back to the bottom side of the racetrack. Dylan Jones slips a little bit. Baker to the outside. There's going to be no competition. Win number 5. Matthew Baker's in the round of 8. How does he keep doing this? Matthew Baker steals away win number 5 at the end of the front stretch, and has locked his place in the round of 8. He'll come around and celebrate. We will give him a chance to do so. After a 5th victory. And one of the most dominant runs in any series that we have ever seen continues for the 5. The Coasting Thunder Chevrolet is your winner tonight. He's going to maybe hit a rollback. I don't know what he's doing. He's trying to now. He just burns it down and lays it wide open. He's going to tail whip the fence. He's going to knock the back end out of it. He's going to knock the front end out of it. You think he's not excited about this one? Baker finishes celebrating. We're going to watch the run to the end. We'll do your finishing results and get into some post-race interviews. And, I mean, this was as close as it gets. It was all the way down to the wire. Maines had the right block the first time, but Baker eventually slipped back to the outside. Dylan Jones slipped just, the slightest bit trying to get back on Garrett's bumper, and as he did, it allowed Matthew Baker to pick up Andrew Navarro and pick up the victory tonight at Talladega Superspeedway. We'll get into your finishing results, then we'll go through some post-race interviews, get to talk to your top 3 in tonight's race. Matthew Baker finishes in the first position on his 5th win of the year in Tuesday Night Thunder. It's Garrett Maines second, and Andrew Navarro finishes in third. Dylan Jones finishes fourth, Landon Vetlicki in 5th. Brock Westmoreland in the 6th position with Logan York in 7th. Daniel Eberhardt finishes 8th, Ashburn Bill in 9th, and Jason Maines rounds out the top 10. J.R. Miller finishes 11th tonight, Mark Vondell in 12th, Mike Davenport in 13th, Michael Triscaro 14th, and Chris McCullough in 15th. Devin Ray finishes 16th, Jimmy Emo 17th. It is Kenny McCullough finishing 18th, DJ Daniel in 19th, and Trevin Oswernoth in 20th. Jared Haynes finishes 21st, Matt Lee finishes 22nd, and Jeff Merck shotgun on the field tonight in 23rd. We're going to go get your top 3 for some post-race interviews. Stick with us on PGR eSports. We'll be right back. You're going to hear from your top 3. Stay with us. We'll be right back in a second. All right, not going to be a long wait tonight, I can tell you that much. These guys were quick about it here tonight. And the first guy we'll talk to, the guy who finished third, put himself in a really good points position after tonight. And it is the driver of the number 44 who finishes third in tonight's race, and that is Andrew Navarro. Andrew, it's Dawson the booth to get a copy.
Yeah.
Well, a crazy one tonight, crazier than we're used to. A lot of action, a lot of chaos, a lot of wrecking. But you guys up front, you held it together, ran each other clean enough that you could get all the way to the finish. A third-place finish. Got to feel pretty good for you to open up the playoffs.
Yeah, it feels really good. I think we came in here with 0 points with the reset, so we don't have a points buffer to fall onto like we did. I think it was, 3-4 months ago. So it's definitely going to be an uphill battle, but we finished good in the stage and then good in the race, so I think hopefully we just have to finish like 15th or something next week to have a guaranteed shot to move on. But really happy with the way that race finished. I don't think I could have done anything to win it. Maybe I could have, but I didn't want to risk getting absolutely canned at the end. So I just played it safe.
Well, such an interesting season this season compared to last season. The championship run, obviously, a lot of trips to victory lane. Finished the season off, in the best way possible. You've not gotten the luxury of a win this season. Does that stick with you? Is that something that kind of stays with you in a season like this, or is the game plan all the same?
No, the game plan's all the same. It's just getting to that final race. It's gonna be a lot tougher, obviously with no points. But once you're in that final race, it's just whoever finishes ahead of the other 4 guys. So you can really play it smart. That's what I'm hoping to do. But there's no guarantee, obviously, because it is Talladega. So hopefully we can get the win next week or, one of these weeks. But hopefully it's the last one and we're in it. So.
Well, a good finish tonight to start the playoffs will certainly help. A good stage run as well. So you'll have some points buffer next week, like you said earlier. Before we let you go and celebrate this third-place finish, is there anybody you'd like to thank or shout out?
Yeah, I'd like to thank Celebrity Cruises, Premier Racing Setups, Adrenaline Captures, Martin Sports, 7Cs, everybody on the truck or car, and you guys for broadcasting, and Ron for putting on the league.
Well, thanks for talking to us for a second. Congrats on the third-place finish. Go celebrate. Go enjoy it. We will see you next week.
Thank you.
Andrew Navarro in the 44, your third-place finisher tonight. Brings us the man who finished second, threw about all the blocks he could, did everything he possibly could to get the job done tonight. Unfortunately, comes home second, but has a little bit of a points buffer. Garrett, sorry to interrupt you, but Garrett Maines, Dawson up in the booth. You get a copy.
Sure.
Again, sorry to cut you off there, but nonetheless, a second-place finish. I hate to be candid, but it's becoming a pattern of the races when I'm up here solo. You tend to finish second, so sorry about that tonight. But nonetheless, a good start to your playoffs. You were second in points coming in. You had a buffer. Your buffer is larger now by virtue of a good stage run, a stage win, and now a second-place finish. That one's got to feel pretty good. How does this feel to get a good run to start the playoffs?
Yeah, I mean, that was almost the perfect run. I didn't qualify on the pole, but it was close. Ran up front the whole time. I'm pretty sure got most laps led. Like, everything that we could do to maximize points tonight, yeah, I just confirmed that. Most laps led. I mean, we just executed. We were in the right place at the right time. Unfortunately, we were stuck in a impossible situation coming off turn 4. I don't know who it was that split to the top on Andrew down the backstretch, but I was like, oh boy, here we go, because that completely disorganized the bottom row and allowed Baker to get clear and just put me in a situation to have to make a block and make a decision. And the runs just did not come together to be able to make a clear decision. It was a 50-50 coin toss, and I chose the safe position. Yielded me second. If I had held on to it and maybe tried to move up in front of Baker and get the run, I think he had a slight advantage, but it just wasn't very clear at the time. And I think as soon as I hopped down in front of Jones, he got tagged, which stalled him, and just, I don't know, it wasn't meant to be tonight. I mean, I felt like no matter which lane I chose there, it was going to be close, and the bottom is going to be the safe choice. It just didn't pan out. So hindsight's 20/20, and I'd still I don't see how I would have made a better decision in the moment. So I mean, that's you can't be upset about that. You got to be content with the finish like that, with the results we got all the points we could tonight, and I feel like we took home all we were going to get. So happy to move on to the next week with that.
Well, yeah, certainly. Already had a 9-point buffer coming into tonight. Now your series leading 5th stage win of the season, along with a second-place finish. That's going to make that buffer a little bit more manageable and ultimately put you in a really good spot to make the round of 8. So you've been one of the more consistent drivers all season. Tonight it came down to guys that we fully expect to be in those later rounds of the playoffs. Did this race kind of feel like a preview for maybe what's to come down the road here in the postseason?
Honestly, this felt like every other race. I mean, it's always a no mistakes kind of race. You can't really be behind the 8 ball at any point. And I haven't actually gone back to watch it, but there were a couple times where we got cycled out, and it was one of those odd situations where the entire bottom row died. We got cycled, or we ended up losing a ton of time, and I mean, you basically in these cars, the bottom lane was dominant. If you were trying to clear somebody, you had to have a superior pusher, and the guy on the bottom had to make a mistake. And once you got kind of buried in the field, it was extremely difficult to make it up. We had a lot of pit stops tonight, and that allowed for some recovery time. But when it came down to it for me, I didn't have the pit stops to fall back on. It was all at that last bit of the stage. Just it's always tense, always a drag race really. In this, it's every lap. It's can I clear him? No, it's going to be a foot short. All right, regroup and do it again. So I felt like we were on the right side of that tonight. Hopefully we'll be on the right side of it when it counts.
Well, we'll see as we move forward to next week as we set the round of 8. Before we let you go tonight, though, a big run for you tonight, a second-place finish and a stage win. Before we let you go, anybody you'd like to thank or shout out?
Yeah, huge shout-out to Scott at MCU Body, Lennox, the guys at Ryko Performance for all their support, and also thank you to FGR Excel and Left Court Brothers for their support.
Well, thanks for talking to us here for a second. Congrats on the stage win. Congrats on the second-place finish. We'll see you next week as we set the round of 8.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Garrett Maines in the 1, your second-place finisher tonight, leads us to the man of the hour. I can't believe I'm saying this again, a record 5th time this season as the dominance continues for the 5 of MBG Motorsports, Matthew Baker. Baker, it's Dawson the booth to get a copy.
What's up, buddy?
I'll tell you what, and you can tell me this in a second, but that celebration told me you're a little bit excited about this one. The energy was there to start the playoffs. Your series leading 5th win of the season. The dominance continues for you. You're now locked into the round of 8. First and foremost, how's it feel to get the job done tonight?
It feels good. Yeah, you couldn't tell by my celebration. I've won 5 races, destroyed the wall, but who cares? It's a sim. But that wreck before really made me nervous. Because I think I took a little front end damage. I got lucky by barely grazing the front, but it's just unfortunate for Mike again and Merck. The teammates just trying to get them a win. Sorry, that's my dog saying hello. But yeah, that last restart, I pulled even with Garrett right on the start. I went to go and then got even with him and then punched the gas. So that's the only thing that gave me a fighting chance for sure. Dylan got me squirrely a little bit. But that's just because of the front end damage I had, and we were able to somehow come home with it. Valecki, I like to see these new guys go for it, third line with York there and try and get the win, but it really opened up the opportunity there on the bottom.
well, it works out for you, and you can kind of kick your feet up. I know you're going to race the same way next week, but you're locked in the round of 8. You're one step closer. Looking forward a little bit. Is this a preview of what's to come? Is this, something we can expect for the rest of the playoffs?
Yeah, it's just, keep the foot on the gas. Going to try and get Mike and Merck in here to the round of 8. Merck more than Mike is who we really need to focus on. Ollie's still talking to you guys if she wants to say hi, Ollie. It's okay. But yeah, you're gonna focus on trying to get Merck up there, try and get him the win, and get Mikey some good stage points. That way we can secure ourselves in the round of 8 and get on our way to Daytona.
Well, we appreciate you stopping by. Before we let you go, is there anybody you'd like to thank or shout out after your 5th victory of the season?
Yeah, just first and foremost, thanks to Coasting Thunder, MBJ Motorsports, Baker & Son Construction. Thanks to Merck and Triscaro there, getting me up front early in the race. Lost a little track position with that pit road incident, but we were able to make it work. And thanks to the family back at home watching. And Merck's got a new paint scheme. He's got his this month is PTSD Awareness Month. It's something near and dear to my heart as well. And just a great paint scheme that he's running. Hope to see it in victory lane next week. Thanks, Dawson, for putting on the broadcast.
Well, appreciate you for talking to me here for a second. Go celebrate it. Go enjoy it. And we'll see you next week as we set the round of 8.
Thank you, brother.
Matthew Baker in the 5, your winner tonight from Talladega Superspeedway, his 5th of the year. 5 wins and 13 starts for Matthew Baker. That's a pretty intense stat line for this season. He's locked into the round of 8. He can now breathe easy. The rest of the field, not so much. And boy, do we have some twists and turns in the playoffs tonight. You'll not want to miss next week's race as we set the round of 8 field for Ron Morris Racing's Tuesday Night Thunder. That'll be next Tuesday night with another 75 lapper right here on PGR eSports. The rest of the week looks as such. We might or might not have a broadcast tomorrow with some R&R racing, I believe. So tune in for that. We'll see. I know our schedules are not working together right now for those of us that have been on the microphone. So keep an eye out on the channel for that. Hit subscribe. Hit the little bell. If we do go live tomorrow, you'll get the notification that we do go live. Thursday night, though, will be a definite race. Now, I know some details still getting hashed out, but it will be the Xfinity Series cars back at Talladega, I believe, on Thursday night for PGR. A big money pot on Thursday. You won't want to miss that one either. That's going to be a good one. And then Friday, a doubleheader for you. Jimmy Crow's Super Speedway Kings returns on Friday night for a doubleheader. Back-to-back races as we cover the Where's Baker's PC Dash and the Jack Shack 133 coming to you from Talladega on Friday night for Super Speedway Kings. Keep an eye out on the social platforms. We'll have information hopefully coming to you here in the next week or two about the SummerSlam 499 special event. I'm hoping that information gets out. I'm really looking forward to that in about a month and a half. So looking forward to that event. Looking forward to getting some details out to you here in the near future as well. Next Monday night, the Little Guys Series is back. Apologies for no broadcast, but as we saw last week, I was racing. And obviously, as we said, congratulations to Michael Triscaro and family. He was actually over at the hospital on Monday night. So congratulations to Mike again. That's why there was no broadcast. Obviously, that definitely comes first. So no broadcast on Monday night. I can tell you Trevor Oswornoth won Monday night's race. He's locked into the championship there. But we got a nice points battle coming up the next one Monday because the regular season finale is Monday night. You won't want to miss that either here on PGR eSports. Other than that, we'll be back next week for more Tuesday Night Thunder. Thank you so much for joining me here. Apologies for the technical issues early in the race, but nonetheless, we got past it and got a great race in. Matthew Baker wins at Talladega, his 5th of the year, and we are out from Tuesday Night Thunder. Until next week. Come back Thursday, check out the Intimidator Super Speedway Series, and keep an eye on the social platforms for information on the SummerSlam 499. My name is Dawson Wise. You have been watching PGR eSports.